All right, we were muted. All right, we're live. Okay, hey all. So yeah, just a couple days ago, I made this kind of tier list of Beyond the Sun ticks, and I finally here have a game, live game that we can play. So, uh, we have the corporation that starts with 2 extra racks. We're first seat, which is very promising. Uh, the only other thing that I tend to look for at the start of the game is kind of what our achievements are. We have prosperity here, where we need to automate a bunch of disks and research tech threes and possibly colonize. And then we have specialization, which also tends to reward colonization a little. So this game slightly rewards colonization. Um, anyhow, generic first move if your first seat is typically, yeah, research the best, research the generically best tech. I'm going to produce a rock here because I'm hoping to uncover this plant disc and then be able to make multiple people. So we're going to produce 1 rock here, and then our next action will be research a tech 2. And we're hoping to hit mass cloning or psionics research or biosynaptic network. Those are kind of the 3, or android surveyors. So I think we have four very good hits, but we're not guaranteed to hit any of those, but that's certainly the goal. We'll see if I deviate at all from my tier list here. I don't think Beyond the Sun is a game that you quite like truly just use a tier list for what text you're picking or what actions. Also, a tier list doesn't help you decide what you're producing each turn. I think a lot of people, since you already start with a lot of rocks with this corp, would have produced a human, but I think it turns out that's wrong. By producing a rock here, I'm still hoping to uncover this disc and then make multiple humans. And over time, I think I just come out 1 rock ahead compared to other people, but we'll see. Anyhow, we're going to research. We'll also see what event we get. Events always matter. We have Covert Arms Deal. I don't actually love this event. It's going to peel a thing off that I might want as a human. However, with some colonization type goals out here, I am going to go ahead and make a level 2 ship. And I'll upgrade mine to a 3. That gives me some options here for early colonization if we hit the right thing. Regrettably, both of these techs just produce ships. Neither of them are actually helping us with our stated goal. This is only jump 1 also, which is kind of annoying as an immediate. I'm tempted to take android destroyers here and actually slightly lean in towards the colonization game early. I don't think that's particularly good, but unfortunately that's what I'm doing. I'm not very excited about this. This is a slower start that we want. Gosh. I am actually going to produce a human here, but only because my next action I plan to just research this, but this is a bad start. This is already pretty bad. This is not the tech we want to find, and we have to start going down paths. I didn't even pay attention to my tech list. Did I claim android destroyers is better than outer sector militia? I did, but it's very close. All right, I'm gonna produce a human, but I'm already in a slightly weird spot here of things look a little bit weird. Unfortunately, red is copying my research, so they're gonna be the first to get to research this double spot, which is also kind of an issue. Because I want to be able to do that. It's possible that I take the incredibly dubious double move action, which is usually pretty bad, but it might be the right pick here. Off of the blue tech, they're finding biosynaptic network, which is pretty strong for immediate resources. Space-time anomaly studies can be strong, but I don't know that it's good here. There is a lot of if you started moving on there's a lot on the ships. I actually like researching terraforming and then jumping 4. That's actually our current line, is to do that. There is a lot of planets allowing plant production. So we probably could get out 3 plant discs and then make a bunch of humans is going to be our new goal. So we're going to research terraforming. and then we're going to hope to get to jump 4. If we don't get to jump 4, we get to research this tech, which is also a pretty good outcome. Once again, make a rock. I want to save this to make it as a human in a second when I produce a bunch of humans. But we're at a slow economic start, which is really our biggest issue. That Android Destroyers was really not the find we were looking for. However, Android Destroyers is setting us up for some type of possible future game state where maybe if we find, if we can find Android surveyors to go along with the Android Destroyers, we could have a cool colonization game plan actually emerge. We'll see what happens here, though. Wow. This person researched yellow off of this middle. This is really also annoying. This player should be researching green techs. Green techs are better on average, but regrettably they picked yellow, and now we have supply outpost as our find, whereas if you picked green, it was a lot more likely that we would have found the good stuff. We already knew that outer sector militia was not a find amongst green. So if you pick green here, you're very likely to find stuff like mass cloning, Sanix research, or android surveyors, which are all much better than the yellow that we just pulled. Supply outpost is fine. Intersystem diplomacy was fine, but they're not good. So that was regrettable that they beat us to researching this tech and that they picked the wrong color, because now we're dealing with this crap. But oh well. The fun thing is I am going to get to do a crazy jump here. I do get to do jump 4 and hit a lot of systems. And we can even set up to colonize a system pretty immediately. Like, our action is to jump around, make a bunch of humans, and then our follow-up action honestly might be to colonize, which is not the standard game plan at all. But both prosperity and specialization are going to reward us doing some colonization, and we're not getting good techs. We need to follow this blue tech a little. Also, nobody's finding a good way to research level 2s. I mean, maybe purple here will in a sec, but that's the other really sad thing about not picking green. Green had a decent chance of finding Sanix research. If you had picked a green research, without Sanix research, this does not look like a game where it's going to be easy to research lots of high-level techs, which does push the game further towards colonization. So anyhow, we're going to jump 4. This is atypical for sure. With jump 4 here, I guess I want to set up to colonize Wolf. This guy jumps here. I'd like to just have everybody on a planet doing something, so I guess I just do that. I want to put out at least 2 more plant discs. So shipyard system, plant disc. The planet that we're colonizing, I don't know that we want to put plant discs on. I think Wolf, we actually want to put the rock disc. We're eventually going to need to produce more rocks. So we're going to set up to be able to get a bunch of rock discs off now that we have some excess humans here. We got to do a nice produce 3 humans action there, which is very efficient. So our economy is looking a little better. And then after we colonize this, we can drop another rock disc, and then we can actually produce multiple rocks as an action, which is pretty good too. But we'll see what's happening here. All right, our opponent's researching android destroyers. It's totally sensible, totally fine. That makes sense. Yeah, again, I'm not into early colonization usually, but I think it's the correct play here. We're gonna colonize a planet right away. And then we're going to continue researching some more techs, possibly research this guy, probably research supply outpost. I eventually need to research advanced robotics. XOA alloy refinement is okay, but this is a player picking the wrong color. They're researching reds. Why are they researching reds? I don't know if they picked the middle section. If they picked the middle section, they should have been picking blue so that they could find good research techs. Especially when you're set up on these 2 spots to research deeper. Okay, they did research the red tech. Okay. If I was them, I would have researched blue to try to find something better, but Mod Fleet is also pretty bad compared to XOA Alloy Refinement. Again, looking at our tier list, XO Alloy Refinement gives you ship strength and an automation, whereas Mod Fleet is just immediate jump and it's pretty bad. So it's fortunate. Well, fortunate is a slight stretch, but it's our opponents like making mistakes, which is expected. We're playing some weaker opposition in general. All right, they jumped over to a ship system. That's fine. One wild thing that I need to consider here actually is I forgot specialization. Controller colonize 6 or more systems that share the same speciality. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4 systems. I could actually score specialization right away here if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but weirdly, like, this is almost correct to just take it, but I think we're going to be able to get it later anyhow, and I'd rather just colonize this guy right now, while it's easy to do so. I'm also curious to see what comes out next. Okay, makes ships. We can build our 2-ship in the north, but I think we do want it down here. I like, these planets are easier to colonize, so we want this guy down here. We do this. Nobody kicked us off, so we're able to double produce humans again. Now, the downside of double produce humans is that we won't have rocks to actually do a research action with. But I think I'm pretty willing to research advanced robotics and do biosynaptic network down the line. So I'm gonna take my opportunity to produce 2 humans here before we lose some control disks, and then we can start researching some of this crap and getting crazy rock production to go along with stuff. Our economy is getting sorted. Prosperity is looking a little tricky here though to get the automation disks. There's 2 automation disks available here and here. But, I mean, maybe this yellow tech, maybe we research the yellow tech. I mean, this yellow tech could reveal, we've not seen Android Surveyors yet. Android Surveyors is green, yellow, and that Android Surveyors would be a pretty sweet find. I still could debate just jump 4 as my next action here again. Jump 4 as my action could still earn us the specialization achievement, I think. The Professors Guild just opened up, so we finally have access to researching better techs. They do research blue, and they find a decent one in psionics research, but yeah, not. This is kind of a weak game in terms of the techs. Some of the very best techs have not shown up. Nobody's got hypercomputing, space-time nobody took. Mass cloning hasn't shown up. XOA alloy refinement has been ignored, but they do pick psionics research correctly, so they're still in a pretty good spot. All right, I'm going to just research advanced robotics. It's a thing we eventually need to do, and I am going to produce rocks because we need rocks. Yeah, we need rocks to actually research some techs. Like, we could just research supply outpost and then move some ships and be ready to colonize again. Honestly, does jump 2 get us specialization? This ship can jump here, which gets a specialization. And then, yeah, actually, oh no, somebody's sitting here. That's the issue. We're pretty close. Okay. Android Surveyors does show up. Android Surveyors does show up off the yellow, so this is a good way to colonize in the future also. Yeah, researching Android Surveyors as our next action, and then action after that, setting up to colonize, looks really actually quite slick. This is another automation disk, which is good. Black Market Industries showed up. I missed this too. Black Market Industries is usually worth taking early on in the game for extra production. So, like, we might research Android Surveyors and then, like, take this disk off so that we can produce a bunch of rocks. And our economy is doing well. Museum of Retired Spacecraft. Oof. Museum of Retired Spacecraft is often worth taking, but I don't think that I take it here. We have so much reason to want all these ships for some of our events, and we're doing a weirdly, like, move around game, so I think I have to pass on this, but that's sad. Passing on it is rough. As for tech 3s, I'd really like to research this yellow tech. Yellow techs tend to be quite powerful. Yeah, yellow techs tend to be pretty powerful. Again, our Tech 3s, the things that we really like to find in Tech 3s are things like quantum data exchange, hive mind computing is yellow, subatomic fabrication is yellow, wormhole tech is yellow, hyperdrive boosters is yellow. There's a lot of very good yellow techs in the 3 deck. So Android rights movement is a pretty powerful tech also, though. Purple's finding some pretty good stuff. Yeah, they have the ability to make lots of humans efficiently, and now this action with Android rights movement, this action is now 3 rocks to research a tech 3, which is really good. So that's definitely a concern. Purple's having a very good game. Purple's having a very good research game. So I need to get on stuff. Okay. Yeah, am I colonizing another planet early though? That's just like, it's usually not what I do, but I think it's correct here. The only real question is, yeah, do I research Android surveyors? The problem with researching Android surveyors is it doesn't actually set me up to, doesn't super set me up, but whatever. We need to research a few more techs. All right. We're just jumping our 2 ship over here so that we can actually produce. We're going to take Black Market Industries here and put out a rock disc so that we can make a bunch of rocks. That way, now we're well set. Our next action can be colonize. If it can't be colonized, we can just research a tech level 3 with Professor's Guild. So we're set. We did take -2 for that extra production disc, but I'm pretty sure it's correct. I mean, all my experiences, it's correct. We're definitely setting up nicely for some of these events or some of these achievements, and achievements are also pretty important. So prosperity, we still need to research 2 tech 3s and get another automation disc out. And get another colonized system. So prosperity is tough to work towards, but prosperity is weirdly one of the ones that does make me want to pursue a bit of colonization, because yeah, prosperity along with specialization, it's hard to earn these achievements, so the game is going to go slightly longer on average than some other stuff, which is why I'm willing to pursue this, but we'll see. Red has had to take a pause action here just to produce. Red is really not set up a good economy. That's Red's big issue. Purple's finding a decent enough automation and techs that help. In particular, they're able to produce these humans because Android rights movement was able to move stuff over. So Purple's taking a pause here, though, to research terraforming. I guess that's reasonable. Then they just go back to psionics research here. Yeah. Okay, so I have the option to research a tech level 3 or to colonize, and I'm very interested in colonizing. Colonizing also lets us do all 3 productions on our turn. Doing all 3 productions on our turn looks very powerful. We'll be able to produce humans and rocks, and then be just like kind of turbocharged for the rest of the game. The main question is, do I want to pay 4 rocks to colonize, or do I want to pay 3 rocks and a human? And weirdly, I think my human production is actually going to be pretty good, so oddly, I'm going to pay a human as an extra cost here, which is kind of atypical. But yeah, I think this is fine. I am going to put out 1 more plant disc, even though long term I would like more rock production. But we're going to put a plant disc on this guy. Because yeah, we got to produce 3 rocks and 3 people. I could do conversions. I'm not interested in converting anything here. I'm happy with where we're at. But now I have I have a pretty good base. I'm pretty close to earning prosperity. I mean, I need to research 2 tech level 3s. That part's a little bit tricky. But the game plan is going to be research biosynaptic network. Well, the game plan is going to be research this. We're going to research this tech level 3 using Professor's Guild. Then we're going to research biosynaptic network. Then we're going to research this tech level 3. We will definitely have earned prosperity by that point. If we find anything that gives us some jumps, we're not that far away from succeeding at specialization. Both of our planets are wildcard planets, so we have 2 automatic counts for specialization. Currently, we have control of 2 other planets, so right now, like if we could just jump onto this guy and this guy, we would earn specialization. I could just earn specialization by jumping 4, but I'm not that interested in doing that. I don't think that's particularly good. I think we would rather earn specialization as a side effect of finding good techs that let us move around. Well, we still want to be doing techs, and we still want to be pursuing a tech level 4 research. We've had a weird opening where we've done some colonization rather than just belligerently researching techs. Purple is doing the thing I would prefer to be doing of just researching lots of techs. It tends to be better. I mean, Purple is scoring better than us at the moment. Good news, Purple is letting us pick this yellow research here. I was worried they were going to research this tech before us, but like we're going to get this event. They do find hive mind computing though, which is very good. It's very good. It's a very good find. Honestly, I kind of want them to pick hive mind computing, hoping that I find quantum data exchange so that I can copy their hive mind computing. Transdim AI is not particularly good. The fact that it lets you just research a tech, but you don't get the immediate bonuses, like the immediate bonuses are huge on a lot of these guys. But yeah, so they do take hive mind computing, which is definitely correct. Their game is still spooky to me. They have a lot of good stuff. They have a lot of good stuff going. But the only good news is their economy is a little bit stunted at the moment. Like, they only slightly. I mean, they need to produce humans, and then they're going to need to produce a bunch of rocks. But like, they're pretty close to researching a tech 4, which is trouble. And they did get galactic headquarters, so they have a very powerful ship now too. All right, I get to Professor's Guild. This guy, and all right. This is an extra tech level 4 that can get research. This event is not great, but I'm going to pick blue anyhow. Neo-Industrial Revolution is over there. Wow. Team, that sucks so much. There are 2 bad yellow techs, and we hit both of them. This is a huge low roll. This is a huge low roll. Stealth Terraformers and Mercenary Fleet are literally the 2 worst cards that we could have found. Every other yellow tech is better. We see on our tier list over here that these were literally the 2 worst cards. The reason you pick yellow and you're typically so happy researching yellow techs is like usually you find some really good shit, but this is just bad. These are bad. We don't even have much ship strength anymore, so Stealth Terraformers is so hard to use. I guess I take Mercenary Fleet. Mercenary Fleet gives us a very good spot to maybe colonize, but again, we're not really running colonization game plan. I need to produce rocks. Producing 3 humans again, though, is very cool. Our production is great, but wow, was that terrible finds. Was that just absolutely awful finds. Our game is like significant. Like, Quantum Data Exchange in our game was just amazing. Believers get in here. There's still time. Oh, we can still win this game. I mean, we absolutely can still win this game, to be clear. We're probably going to win this game just because our opponent's rating suggests that we will. But it's just incredibly bad. Incredibly bad tech finds. Like, remarkably awful. But that's how she goes. That's how she goes sometimes. I might be researching Supply Outpost as my next tech. If I research Supply Outpost, I can earn the Specialization achievement. And then I have another shot at researching yellow techs, and I know for a fact this time when I research yellow techs, I'm going to find something good. The deck does not get fully reshuffled. The things that you just saw go on the bottom. So we know that Merc Fleet and Stealth Terraformers are on the bottom now. So we're much more likely to actually hit Subatomic Fabrication or Quantum Data Exchange on our next research yellow. So I kind of want to research this and then research this and then hopefully get a Tech 4. But you played Puerto Rico this for the first time in forever. You don't remember how I feel about it? I like Puerto Rico quite a lot, actually. I streamed Puerto Rico a little bit once or twice. But anyhow, I quite like Puerto Rico. I'm still debating if I'm supposed to research Biosynaptic Network here, by the way. Research Biosynaptic Network gets me an automation and a bunch of immediate resources, which is like very helpful. But the problem is if I research Biosynaptic Network, now I'm researching this tech, which is going to be green. And the only green tech I care about finding really is metahuman chambers. I guess subatomic fabrication's still pretty good. Maybe researching a green tech's fine too. Also our opponent is making it impossible for me to do the thing I wanted to do. The supply outpost plan no longer works. It involved jumping to this planet in order to get specialization. But now I would need to jump 3 to achieve my goals. Okay, yeah, we're back to researching biosynaptic network. We're gonna research biosynaptic network, and then we're gonna hope that this is metahuman chambers. Appears to be the game plan from here. The good news for us is purple just did what? They what? They used it. Oh wow, they did narrow laser beams as an action. I would not have done that. That kind of delays their main thrust of their game, but that's right. You remember that? Nice. Okay. My computer is struggling. Oh my god, it's struggling. All right. Biosynaptic network. We just want to do this. This is pretty much always what you want to do on biosynaptic network. We want to automate rock production. And I need to make more rocks here in order to do what we want. I eventually need to make more humans, but rocks are pricey at the moment. Yeah, if gosh, I could start leading into just pure Empire here, but I'm going to research one more Tech 3. I'm going to research one Tech 3 and hit Prosperity, and then we might be pushing Empire, which is also not usually what I do. But Android Destroyers gives us a good action to make ships, and then Merc Fleet and Android Surveyors gives us good actions to actually colonize with. We might have enough game to do that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we do. Android Destroyers does get us specialization, but that pushes us closer to the end of the game. Maybe the game ending's okay, though. Like, I'm about to earn prosperity, and then if I just push specialization and somebody beats me to attack 4, maybe it's okay. It might be okay. You know, it might be okay. Although they just used the Android Destroyer's action, so I can't do that immediately. But that's okay. We also have a slightly tough map to colonize on at the moment. Like, a lot of the planets take a lot of ship strength to colonize, but... all right, we're going to see what purple does here. Purple colonizes. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. And they can produce... No, they can't produce enough rock, though. See, they're being a bit slow about the Tech 4 thing. This is a great system to have just flipped. Wow, that's also actually great for us, but I'll worry about that later. But that's a nice system to colonize for points. Dyson Sphere. Wow, Dyson Sphere is another weird thing that possibly makes us be able to pursue Empire faster, because now we have this wild colonization action. We do hit Metahuman Chambers, though. Metahuman Chambers opens up a lot of game for us. This opens up a lot of game. We can actually research a Tech 4 now very efficiently. We can actually win the race to a Tech 4, right? Yeah, because purple's not going to... Well, no, purple could still beat us to Tech 4, because I can't guaranteedly Tech 4 on my next turn. I think I need to take rock production here again, as much as I want to make a ton of humans. But rock production is needed to take the Android Destroyers action that I think I need to take next. So, but yeah, we claim prosperity there, which is great. Yeah, okay. Things are okay now. They're not great, but they're doing okay. It's possible my next action actually is just jump 4. I think I can jump 4, earn specialization, produce a bunch of humans, so that my action after that can be research a Tech 4. And then hopefully that's just kind of a winning game plan. It probably is. Because that means we're gonna hit prosperity, specialization, and transcendence.
We might be second to Transcendence, but second to Transcendence is going to be okay here. By the way, sorry, I barely looked at my tier list there, but MetaHuman Chambers is obviously one of the better tech level 3s, and it lets you research tech level 4s. What else did I even have an option for? Cerebral implants. Cerebral implants is pretty low on the tech or on the list. Cerebral implants lets you research other techs more efficiently, but you need great rock production and bad human production. That's not the case that we find ourselves in. We have great human production. I'm not even fully leveraging that because I keep needing to make so many rocks, but we can make so many humans so efficiently, and that's part of why our game is pretty powerful here. Is that when I need to, I could just I can just make 3 humans, and that's a big edge compared to my opponents. So Tau Ceti is still a system I'd love to colonize, though. This is just a 6 point system for colonization, which is nice, but it only costs 3 to get. But it's not the priority. Uh, but yeah, I'm definitely using Android Destroyers here. Android Destroyers is going to earn us specialization. I have control of 2 systems that are wild card. I have a 3rd system that's wild card. I have a 4th system that's plant. This is a wild card system, and this is a plant system. With Android Destroyers, I can get a ship onto Tau Ceti that actually can colonize it. I can get a ship over here onto this galactic headquarters, this 1 ship onto galactic headquarters, and upgrade it to a 4, which is quite nice. What did Purple do? Purple has just done a basic action. Okay, Purple is going to beat me to a tech level 4, which is going to trigger the end of the game. But my last action of the game is also going to be Research at Tech 4, and that should do nicely. I'm not going to have time to colonize, but, oh darn, I can't do everything in the game. We build a new 3 ship there. This 3 ship jumps over here. This 1 ship jumps here. I actually don't want to use my last jump. I'm done jumping. Tau Ceti takes a rock because I have max humans. I do want to move my rightmost cube because I get to make 4 humans, which is hilarious. Oh, but I also don't have rocks. Oh no, team, wait, I forgot. I did mess up here. I said I was going to jump 4. Oh no, team, I said I was going to jump 4, but then I went to the Android Destroyers. Well, shit, that was actually bad. I don't have the ability to research a Tech 4 anymore. I'm about to trigger specialization. Do I have a human left? I do. Okay, shit, that was bad. That was actually bad. My last action's gonna need to be colonize for points. I still might be winning, but it's less clear now. That was really bad, actually. Yeah, shit. Yeah, I guess rocks are what's needed to give me options here. Fudge. Yeah, I needed to just regular jump. I knew that. Damn it, damn it. I went too fast. I went too fast. I needed to actually use this jump 2 action. I needed to use that jump 2 action. So that way I could still metahuman chambers, but now I don't have enough resources to metahuman chambers. So purple's going to beat me to a tech 4, which is going to take them to 32 points directly, and then they're going to have bonus points from their tech 4. We might be losing to purple because of that error. Yeah, purple's had a nice game. We've got a bit rocked. I mean, this yellow tech still was such a bad find, but dang, yeah, I kind of threw there. I kind of threw there though. I had the path, but had the path and I've messed it up. Uh, yeah, dang, really messed it up. I mean, again, I at least get to do a cool colonization for 6, but colonizing for 6 probably is not enough. It might be enough. I still have a little more control on the board than purple does. Purple has no real points on the board, but depending on what tech purple finds, it could be a real issue. Also, this could be a real issue. Damn, I missed this. If purple takes freaking capital ship and flies a ship onto Tau Ceti, I can't even colonize as my last action. But luckily they're taking Android Armada. That's good. That's probably better for them anyhow. But yeah, that could have also messed with me quite a bit. Orange is definitely behind this game, but yeah, purple's very live here, unfortunately. Purple can research this, and like Tech Singularity is just 5 points. New Golden Age is like 6 points. Uh, Gigacorpse is gonna be like 5 points. Uh, yeah, most of the blue things they could find are like totally fine. The green techs are fine for them. So yeah, this is bad. I mean, maybe in some crazy world, for some reason, purple's not gonna use hive mind computing this turn, but like purple's supposed to hive mind compute. If they for some reason don't and they delay the game, delaying the game definitely favors me. Uh, just definitely favors me. But I mean they should just hive mind compute here and end the game, and they are. Yeah, dang. They pick green and they hit Android Independence, so that's just 6 points for them if they take Android Independence, which they should. Gigacorpse is probably less points for them. Uh, yeah, they should just take Android Independence, but we'll see. Uh, yeah, dang, we might have threw. We might have threw pretty hard here. If I could research a Tech 4 here, like I'm definitely winning, but having to colonize instead is significantly worse. They do take Android Independence, so like they're just a bit ahead of me. Their last action though, what do they? God, they get to research a Tech 3 with their last action. They have enough resources to research this Tech 3. Luckily, it's a red tech, and there's not a lot of great red techs for them, but there's solid red techs. Almost all red techs at least give them a ship and they can jump and then like take control from me. Yeah, like I think we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose so much elo. We're gonna lose so much elo, but oh well. Uh, I threw. I had the winning line and I didn't take it. There's no global bonuses here. Yeah, dang. It doesn't. Well, there could become a global bonus. I don't know. It's very unlikely to matter. I'll make 4 humans just because it's an insane. 4 humans is a wildly good action. If this game was going a little longer, we're also just in a great spot economically. But yeah, the game is not continuing. Uh, Currently, I have 4 points on the spaceport, and purple has no points on the spaceport, which is great. Currently I'm winning because of that. Then I'm at 39. I'm at 43 to purple's at 38. Is the current score. But the issue is that purple can research a Tech 3, which takes them to 41. They produce a ship, and that ship should take control of a system away from me. So then they go up a point to 42. We tie at 42. It's possible we tie at 42 and then I win the tiebreaker, which is most discs off the board. So I might still be winning. What other red techs can they find? Uh, they can find deep space megastructures. It's just going to do exactly what I said. I think all the red techs they can find are just going to do what I said. Yeah, I think maybe I am winning. It's also possible they don't navigate that line and you just win. Correct. It is possible. It is definitely possible that they don't find the line. The other problem here is, annoyingly, if orange doesn't find a better action, orange also might just take control away from me. If orange doesn't come up with better actions, they might. Okay, but no, luckily they just colonize. Okay. The way that I think I lose, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is if there is a way that I lose. Purple can find. If purple finds I think it is deep space megastructures that gives a jump to, or maybe it's planetary scale research that gives jump to. One of these red techs gives jump to. Also this just gives them a point. Okay, great. So they get a point. I forgot about this. They get a point, and then deep space megastructures. Oh, is jump 1. If they jump 1 and take my system away from me, which does appear what they're doing. It appears to be what they're doing. If they do that, they do win, actually. They'll be 1 point ahead of me. If they jump to the wrong system, I win. But they have the win here, as long as they do it. I forgot they were likely to find an event that gave them 1. Wow, they do jump to the wrong system. They don't take control away from me. I think they lose because of this. Which is possible. I think we tie and I win tiebreak is what's about to happen, but we'll see how accurately I've added stuff up. But They needed to take a point away from me while jumping there. They didn't. Yeah, I do get the win on the tiebreak. Whew. Okay, well, we don't fully deserve that, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Well, yeah, I mean, also I threw, right? Like, I threw. If I could have just researched it. So, my last action, I got 6 points, but it was really only 5 points because if I just didn't colonize this guy, I would still have control there. So, I did a 5-point action. However, if I had been smarter about my jump, I would have just jumped. Well, I would have left the system open. I don't know. It's a little confusing. But anyhow, if I had done the right thing and set up to research a Tech 4, instead of like a 5-point last action, I get 3 points plus whatever I find. Now, I'd be researching blue, so I'm either finding Gigacorpse, which is like an 8 or 9-point find for me, or I'm finding Tech Singularity, which is like a 5-point find for me, or what else could I find that's blue? What am I forgetting? Oh, I could find Parallel Universe Generator. Oh, sick. Parallel Universe Generator is like a 8 or 9-point find also. So I actually, I'm guaranteed to find like at least 8 points because I either find Parallel Universe Generator or Gigacorpse. And I get 3. So I got 11 points if I did the right thing. Instead, I got 5 points as my final action. So yeah, I mean, I threw pretty hard. I threw pretty hard at the end, but we still got the win. But yeah, purple just flat out wins if they jump to right, because this is deep space megastructures. Yeah, they got a 3-ship in deep space. If they just jump that 3-ship to this system, I lose a point worth of control. But instead, they picked a neutral system. So yeah, got lucky there. Anyhow, yeah. So that's a game of Beyond the Sun. I don't know that I super showed off my tech list here, but hopefully in a moment now I'll actually go over to YouTube and I'll publish. I'll send this video over along with my tier list video, and hopefully in combination these are some really useful ideas about kind of how to play Beyond the Sun well and kind of what the ideas are in a typical game. This game wasn't particularly typical. You're not going to see me end with 3 colonized systems very often, but prosperity is a really good reason to colonize 2 systems, as is specialization. So I mean, the fact that I got these achievements is quite good. And then if I hadn't thrown at the final minute, I obviously would have got both of these achievements plus transcendence, and that's a very complete, solid game plan, and it would have led to a pretty comfortable win. I just threw at the end and misremembered what I was doing in order to actually make sure to get my research. I mean, finding this Merc Fleet action was still awful, though, by the way. I mean, this tech is just so much worse than all the other techs we could have found. We lost a lot by low rolling there. Again, literally every other yellow tech is better. We found the 2 worst yellow techs. It's pretty rare for that to happen, but it can happen. It is the one thing that can happen. But that was also just a very, like, that's a less than 10% that you get offered both of the bad techs instead of one of the many, many good yellow techs. So that was actually a pretty big bummer too. But anyhow, you don't want to distract from Beyond the Sun, but in your Puerto Rico game, you took advantage of your group's love of quarries and you just earned a bunch of money and delivered a ton. Do you think quarries are overrated, or did you just get lucky? I think quarries. It depends on how hard your group is prioritizing quarries. It also, how did you just earn a bunch of money, though? That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. Like, you took advantage of your group's love of quarries to just earn a bunch of money. How? Like, that's the main question. You went coffee and traded, and they didn't stop you. So I mean, look, to be clear, if I'm in a group meta that's not going to block my coffee trade, then I agree. That's just clearly better. But they were going hard on quarries, and you just produced more goods. Yeah, so that's not really a big issue. The allowing the coffee trade is the issue. Opens up more goods if everybody goes quarries. Sure. But more production is like something, but it still can be tough to make money. Also, to be clear, like, if your group is going quarries, there's not that many quarries, and other people still have to take plantations too. So what are they building with those quarries if not eventually production? Like, I anyhow, but my answer is going to be, I. It sounds like your group pursues quarries probably slightly too highly, but quarries are good. Like, I don't want to knock, like, I don't want to get confused here. Quarries are pretty good. The bigger issue is allowing somebody to get away with, like, early uncontested coffee trades and repeatedly allowing them to coffee trade. For the record, I had a rotating, I guess just very briefly, sorry to all the Beyond the Sun fans. We're done with Beyond the Sun basically now. Like, I've essentially done my after thing. So if you were only in this video for Beyond the Sun, which is totally reasonable, I'm going to just blab with chat members now for the rest of this stream. And I don't edit my YouTube videos. I just upload the whole thing. So apologies there. Looping back to my discussion, I played in a Puerto Rico group. The meta there was very hard. Nobody gets to trade efficiently repeatedly. So even if you got away with like one coffee trade, the other players will like purposely not, like, somebody will choose not to trade in the trading house so that the trading house is gunked up with crap and there's only one slot open, and like that slot is like a quarter in indigo, right? So like you eventually have to pick trade again just to clear that out before you can trade your coffee again. People will try to force you to ship a coffee boat, so that they can constantly force you to ship your crap off. Now, can you get in such a position where all of this is good for you? I mean, hopefully, sure. Like that's the idea of Puerto Rico, but it can be pretty brutal to like efficiently make money against fairly focused efforts to deny people money. And then quarries do start looking a bit more exciting again. But anyhow, you were playing the expansion. Oh, okay. You got the lighthouse that gave you more money for having goods diversified. Gotcha. I'm not familiar with expansion meta at all, so I can't actually speak to it. It's very possible that quarries are worse in the expansion meta. Very possible. I pretty much only play base Puerto Rico. So yeah, I really actually don't know expansion Puerto Rico. You guess that's a plus of Puerto Rico that each group game has its meta that you have to adjust to. Yes, that is a big plus of Puerto Rico. Although I've also found that it's part of what makes playing Puerto Rico in tournament settings really tricky, because yeah, you get certain people that have certain ideas about what's important and what they must do and what they have to do, and one of the things that I find fairly annoying is like at WBC, the GM pretty much every year has a spiel about like be careful about producing so that you're not throwing the game to somebody. But I actually find it really annoying because it makes people scared to call produce, and then they tend not to call produce even when they should. Uh, in my opinion, Puerto Rico broadly should come down to builders versus shippers, and broadly there should be two people that want to pursue build, and they're going to often call trade and build actions, and there should be two people that want to ship, and they should be calling produce and captain actions. Now, the problem is, in order to have a good shipping game, you generally need other people to join you so that you can each keep calling produce and captain each round. But that involves a loose understanding that you need to call produce some rounds. But if people are scared to do that and then they default to doing something that helps the builders more, it's like it's so messy. It's generally hard in Puerto Rico to win like completely on your own though. So like yeah, I don't know. It's a great game and it's really interesting to adapt to what your opponents are doing. But yeah, it can also be a mess. But anyhow, I don't know. I don't do enough, but you've heard that as a drawback at the high level where the meta is so standardized that people just get mad. So that's a little bit overclaimed. Really, there's poor sports that, yes, indeed. There are poor sports out there that are like, oh, people are supposed to do this and you didn't. But I don't know many people that play a lot of Puerto Rico that fully are locked on that. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of meta in theory, and like there's slightly standard moves for the first couple, but like I don't know, the game rapidly shifts up, and people are gonna like just like any game. There's definitely a bunch of points where it's not like you have to do this. It's like you could do this or this, and now that somebody did this, now we're in this branch, and now we're in this branch, and now nobody knows what should be happening. So like I think it's way overclaimed. There's just poor sports out there that like to freaking yell in Puerto Rico because they're annoyed. And I mean, to be fair, there are occasionally instances where like I do think people throw the game. For example, in your game, I don't exactly know how it worked, but it should pretty much be impossible for somebody to like get a ton of early money by trading coffee a bunch. Like first off, you need to get enough money to build a coffee roaster. Then you have to man the coffee roaster. Then it needs to produce, and then you need to be allowed to trade it. Like people should be making this hard on you. This should not be an easy path for you to pursue. As soon as you produce your coffee, they should be trying to ship it away. Like somebody should be calling captain and like, goodbye. Your coffee's on a boat. You're not trading that sucker. Like money should not be easy to get in Puerto Rico because yes, having a bunch of money is how you win the game. Not letting your opponents get a bunch of money is important. Hey, Heroic Logic, thanks. I will call him over in a second. I don't know where he is. Anyhow, this last game made you much higher on warehouses than you had been because you didn't mind the produce captain cycle as much. Yes. To be clear, warehouses are part of what make a produce captain ship cycle work pretty efficiently. Uh, again, it heavily depends on your group meta. It heavily depends on what's happening, but being able to store your extra goods and then getting around to captaining them again later is powerful. And then especially if some of these players get harbors, it's quite good. But you're all bads. It's fine. You're learning. You're new at Puerto Rico. Like to be clear, I'm talking like I don't think I'm necessarily a Puerto Rico expert per se. I've not played a lot in a while. I'm rated reasonably well, and I'm reasonably good at the game. But you guys are all exploring. Go explore. Anyhow, yeah. I guess my read on your meta is that it sounds like they're probably pursuing quarries slightly too highly, but I think quarries are still quite good. Like, I often take a quarry or two. Uh, I don't value four quarries. Four quarries is crazy for the record, and I don't even value three quarries all that much. Um, by the time you're talking about a third quarry, like, yeah, you often can get a discount, but like, gosh, you need to take a bunch of early actions to get three quarries, and you're putting three men into this. Like, there's diminishing returns for sure. Just to be clear, um, I. But anyhow, like quarries are definitely solid and they're useful. But part of why they're solid and useful is because like they're one of the better ways to generate money. However, if you're allowed to just build tobacco or coffee and trade a bunch of tobacco or coffee, and the trading house consistently clears so that you can keep trading tobacco or coffee, that's just better. That is better. That's how you should play if you're allowed to play. If you're allowed to consistently trade high value goods, that is actually the best way to make money in the game. It's just you shouldn't be allowed to do that. So then we loop back into quarries are better because they're not really blockable and they're solid, etc. But anyhow, you've played 13 games. Got you. You think it was four quarries, three quarries, two quarries? You had none, or maybe it was 4-2-2, 4-3-1. One guy definitely had four. Yeah, four is definitely a problem. And if you were dominating the trade action, one of the guys that was not benefiting much from trade should just refuse to trade, right? Like, why are we clearing the trading house? Don't clear the trading house. Make it really annoying for that coffee guy. The coffee guy gets to trade a coffee barrel. Somebody trades like a sugar barrel. Somebody probably trades a tobacco barrel. Now the guy that's staring at like a corn barrel or an indigo barrel for $1, don't. Just don't. Stop it. Stop trading because all your opponents are gonna just freaking trade again if you do that, and they're gonna get even further ahead on money. So just gunk the damn place up. Don't trade, and then watch what people do to make money. I mean, eventually somebody will call trade and like send their own indigo barrel in there so that they can call trade again in a future round. But it slows their cycle down a lot. Which is important. Yeah, I'm only 376 at Puerto Rico. Uh, Although again, I don't play a lot, and this rating is heavily influenced. This rating's heavily influenced by the fact that I played a lot of games against friends of Puerto Rico. Yeah, pretty much all of my games are just against a bunch of freaking experts. Like all of these players are just wildly good. Freaking Eric Freeman, Ray Wolf, Chris Wilds. Like these are a bunch of just very strong Puerto Rico players. Is most of my yeah. I don't just play. I don't play in the. I don't. My rating's not really representative because I don't really play the appropriate opponents. Yeah, look at my most frequent opponents. Freaking Scott Sassetti. Yeah, okay, almost all my. Okay, fine. Most of my Puerto Rico games are with friends. That's a problem. Uh, and I mean, I'm winning. I'm very competitive with them. But these are some of the better like live Puerto Rico players that I know of. Like these are guys winning tournaments of Puerto Rico. So the fact that I'm holding my own with them suggests that I am pretty good at Puerto Rico, I guess. But also, yeah, like I don't know. I guess I got used to their meta too, which is something. But anyhow, whatever. Your games are way higher scoring than yours, which is probably demonstrative of your skill level. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, probably. To be clear, it totally depends on the group meta. Like this group has relatively lower scoring, but if I find all the games against Scott, like we had some pretty high scoring games in the Scott games because we had some games that like actually ended on the shipping. Like like we have some high scoring games up into the 60s. It totally again it partly depends on the group. That other group tends to be a little more builder heavy, so we tended to rush the end. But if the coffee player can trade goods already, then not clear the trader isn't worth the sacrifice. Sure, sure, sure. To be clear, I'm totally with you that everything depends on the current state of the game. Puerto Rico, we can't just do broad statements. The only broad statement I'll make, again, is like looping to Gonzo's original question of like, does his group overvalue quarries? Yes, the answer is his group overvalues quarries. But then the follow up to his question of like, how do I feel about quarries? I still think quarries are pretty good. But yes, if I know that I'm playing with players that are going to let me get away with trading high value goods, then I would pursue high value goods as a priority. If I'm not at that table, I probably am worried a little bit more about quarries. But again, it all depends. Your average scores are in the high 40s and the winner's somewhere in 55, 65. Yeah, those sound like relatively long games, but also if it's the same player that has to sack every trade, then they can't keep doing it. I mean, hard disagree. I like super disagree with that. You absolutely can keep doing it. You basically never produce coffee unless you have another good to cover shipping action. I mean, sure, that is the dream, but even then, let's suppose that you produce corn. Do you have a strong reason why you aren't going to get forced to still ship your coffee? Like, relatively early game, we can force you to ship your coffee still. Like, it's going to take a while. And as long as we make it take a while for you to ship your or like as long as we make it a while before you can trade your coffee, uh, then it's not so easy to get money, and then we're back to it's really hard to snowball and get going ahead. Also, hard disagree about the idea that like you can't just be the guy passing on trade every time. You absolutely can be the guy just ignoring trade. You don't have to trade to get money in this game. There are other ways to survive. Uh, so you produced coffee, tobacco, and corn. Is that crazy? It's not crazy in the scenario. It's not crazy in the situation you're describing. It's not crazy in a game where my opponents are allowing me to consistently trade and get a lot of money. It is relatively crazy that you would be in a position to set that up. Also, to be clear, I'm assuming that you probably had quite a few corn tiles. My guess is if your group is over prioritizing quarries, that you're probably behind them and getting probably more corn plantation tiles than you should be. But corn is also very good, and it allows you to do a nice shipping strat. Right? So, like, again, the game is varied and tricky, but if the other players put you in the fall guy position, then you're losing ground. Not really. I largely disagree, right? Like, to be clear, I'm talking about scenarios where I'm refusing to trade because I'm getting like $1. And now I don't trade. Now somebody has to call trade again in order to get just a single trade. Nobody gets to do anything. But there's way less money in the game because of this. Like, that can be very important. Like, I'm not always doing this to be clear, but if you want to make sure that your opponents don't just get to snowball super far ahead of you, you often have to be willing to like just ignore the trade for a round or two. It depends on how much money you're giving up. It depends on how much that money matters to you. But you definitely can slow everybody else's money down and benefit more because of that. You just do what your opponents aren't doing. I mean, to be clear, that's kind of good. Although, again, to be super, super clear, eventually in Puerto Rico, if you're the only one trying to do something, it can also be pretty tough because everybody else can just like kind of do the actions they need, and you're the only guy that's like calling the stuff that you need, and that can be a difficult arrangement to live on also. Again, that's where I tend to think high level Puerto Rico kind of comes down to two builders against two shippers. It's not always going to be that way, but I tend to think that's what people are incentivized to do. I tend to think that you're not that well off to try to become the third builder. And I like anyhow, yes, I think it's hard to do pure shipping on your own. Much of why I've lost at WBC is because I've tried to go shipping, and then the person that's supposed to be my shipping buddy doesn't freaking produce when they're supposed to, and then we both lose. But that's how it goes. But maybe with your next 50K, you'll have me replay your lack of Puerto Rico skills. Yeah, I mean, you kind of make me want to go stream some Puerto Rico, so maybe that happens later. But finally got my Beyond the Sun stream out of the way here. Although again, we're very far from Beyond the Sun now at the end here. But it'd be fun to try test myself in some Puerto Rico games again, because I do think I streamed some Puerto Rico back in the day, but God, it was quite a while ago. All my Puerto Rico games are I have very little recent Puerto Rico play, so. But anyhow, I do need to head off here and get on to some other stuff. Oh, except Heroic Logic, I owed you a treat, except you've not been bugging me. All right. Ooh, hello, Loki. All right. Here's our Loki treat. Come on, Lokes. Oh, yeah, you gotta sit close. Are you in the screen? Are you there? You are there. Okay. Good boy. Yeah. Didn't want to interrupt the Puerto Rico discussion. Well, that's fair, but you could have. You definitely could interrupt the Puerto Rico. But anyhow, yeah, I should head off shortly. But yeah, I'm glad I got my Beyond the Sun game in, even if it was a close, sketchy win. Glad to have some discussion. And yeah, maybe I could get some Puerto Rico. Maybe I could get a Puerto Rico stream in there too. It sounds kind of fun actually. I've not played a lot of Puerto Rico later, so. You like the expansion just because you can randomize the buildings and have to come up with a new game plan. You sure it can be totally imbalanced? No, that's fine. You can't just say you're going to be the warehouse, harbor, or wharf guy. Yeah, interesting. The expansion's kind of interesting because yes, you slightly have to adapt to buildings, but I don't know. The thing is, Puerto Rico survives so well for me because you have to adapt to your opponents, right? Like, okay, here's the set of buildings. You can try to go into the game claiming you're going to be the harbor guy, but you might get beat to harbors, or you just might not be in that good of a position to run a harbor game, right? Like, I find Puerto Rico fascinating enough and worth pursuing multiple times because of the fact that you have to kind of adapt to what your opponents are doing and what your position allows for. And yeah, trying to figure out how you can be in position to like always benefit on what your opponents are calling, and that you're in position to call something that your opponents are not able to benefit as much from, is like an interesting enough puzzle that it doesn't matter to me that the buildings are static. But yeah, anyhow, um, the nobles or whatever, but the new buildings add spice. Yeah, to be clear, I mean I've played a handful of games with the new buildings, and it is kind of interesting. I probably would enjoy playing with them a bit more. As usual, a lot of my plays of games tend to be based around I'm gonna I'm gonna play what the tournament formats are to get used to that, and the Puerto Rico tournaments I know of don't use the expansion buildings, so. But yeah. Anyhow, I'm blabbing a lot. Maybe we get a Puerto Rico stream later. We'll see. We'll see if I can actually. We'll see if I can even win or compete in Puerto Rico. I don't even know how easy it is to get live Puerto Rico games anymore because it's been so long since I've tried. I assume it's relatively easy. I assume Puerto Rico is still popular enough, but who really knows? There's always the two-player tables, but heck, what are the arena Puerto Rico settings too? I believe Arena Puerto Rico is usually 2 player. Oh no, it's 4 players. 4 players, no preference, balance game, classic, off. Oh, looks like I could try to play Arena Puerto Rico. I guess the question is how many games actually get played. Oof, not a lot of games. Hard to get games. Hard to get games of Puerto Rico. All right. Anyhow, it's been good talking. Good talking. I'll see everybody around later. But yeah, I'm headed off for now. So, bye.